Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is to fight your own mind? We live in a world that constantly demands our attention, pulling us into a spiral of anxiety, overthinking, and endless comparison. You wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, the heavy cloud of worry has already settled in. It feels like your brain is wired to search for what is wrong, what is missing, and what might fall apart next. But what if you could change the channel? What if you could train your mind not just to survive the noise, but to actively see the good in life? By tapping into timeless Buddhist wisdom, you can completely rewire your inner world. Today, we will explore profound ways to transform your mindset, bringing deep clarity and lasting peace to your daily life. Imagine two people walking through the same forest. The first person is consumed by frustration. They notice the mud clinging to their shoes, the annoying buzz of insects, and the exhausting steepness of the trail. The second person, walking the very same path, feels a profound sense of awe. They feel the crisp, cool air filling their lungs, the golden sunlight piercing through the dense canopy, and the steady, grounding rhythm of their own footsteps. The forest is identical. The reality is the same. The only difference is the architect of that reality, the human mind. You do not experience the world as it truly is. You experience the world as you are. Your mind is the ultimate filter. Every belief, every silent fear, and every internal judgment acts as a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. If your internal lens is clouded with stress and negativity, even the most beautiful moments will seem dull and gray. But when you clear that lens, you begin to uncover a vibrant world that was always there, waiting for you to notice it. This is the heart of Buddhist philosophy. Training your mind is not about forcing toxic positivity or pretending that pain does not exist. It is not about painting over a crumbling wall and calling it strong. True mind training is about radical clarity. It is the courageous act of facing life exactly as it unfolds, yet consciously choosing not to add unnecessary suffering to the experience. When the Buddha spoke of awakening, he was not describing a magical realm somewhere in the clouds. He was describing a state of mind. A mind that has been untangled from the relentless grip of craving and aversion. We spend decades trying to arrange the external world perfectly, hoping that the right job, the perfect relationship, or the ideal bank account balance will finally bring us peace. Yet, we completely ignore the internal world, letting it run wild like an untamed horse. It is time to take the reins back. It is time to become the conscious architect of your own experience. Let us walk through the 9 pillars of cultivating a deeply positive, resilient, and peaceful mind. The 9 pillars of a positive mindset. Pillar 1, the mind as a garden, planting intentional seeds. Let us begin with the first pillar of our journey. Picture a vast, empty stretch of rich, fertile soil. This earth is entirely neutral. It does not judge, and it does not discriminate. It simply grows whatever you choose to plant within it. If you plant the seeds of a toxic, invasive weed, the soil will nurture it until it takes over the entire field. If you plant the seeds of a magnificent oak tree, the soil will give it the same nourishment to grow tall and strong. Your mind operates on this same principle. It is a wildly fertile garden, and every single thought you entertain is a seed. Many of us walk through life tossing seeds of doubt, fear, and frustration into our mental soil without a second thought. We replay a bitter argument we had with a friend. We obsess over a mistake we made 5 years ago. We imagine worst-case scenarios for the future. And then, we look around at the overgrown, chaotic garden of our lives and wonder why we feel so stressed and unhappy. The Buddha offered a profoundly simple truth when he taught that what you think, you become. This is not just a poetic metaphor to make you feel good. It is the fundamental law of human psychology and spiritual growth. If you constantly nurture seeds of lack and unworthiness, those feelings will build the blueprint of your daily reality. You will unconsciously attract situations that validate your deepest insecurities. However, if you consciously choose to plant thoughts of kindness, patience, and resilience, you begin to rewire your brain completely. Cultivating a positive mindset requires you to become a dedicated, conscious gardener of your own consciousness. This is where mindfulness becomes your most vital tool. When you pause to observe your thoughts, you are stepping back to survey your garden. When a weed of jealousy or anger sprouts, you do not judge it, and you do not hate yourself for it. But you also do not water it. You simply recognize its presence and gently pull it out by shifting your focus back to the present moment. Over time, feeding your mind with intentional, uplifting thoughts transforms the barren dirt into a lush sanctuary of peace. Pillar 2, the sacred gatekeeper, protecting your energy. This brings us to the second pillar, which is essential for surviving the modern world. If your mind is a garden, then your senses are the gates leading into it. In ancient Buddhist teachings, there is a core practice known as guarding the sense doors. Monks train themselves to be acutely aware of what they allow into their eyes, their ears, and ultimately, their minds. Today, in our fast-paced, hyper-connected society, this ancient practice is more crucial than ever before. Think about your mind as a sacred, quiet temple. Now ask yourself honestly, who and what are you letting inside? Most of us leave the heavy doors of our temple wide open all day long. We wake up and immediately flood our brains with anxiety-inducing news headlines. We scroll through perfectly curated social media feeds that are designed to make us feel inadequate. We engage in draining, gossipy conversations at work. We soak in all this chaotic, fear-driven energy, and then we wonder why we feel completely exhausted and emotionally depleted by noon. Your mind is incredibly impressionable. It absorbs the energy of its environment just like a sponge absorbs water. The peace you are desperately searching for often gets buried underneath a mountain of digital noise that was never yours to carry in the first place. To truly see the good in life, you must step up and become the fierce, sacred gatekeeper of your own mind. You have the absolute right and the responsibility to dictate what enters your mental space. Start setting firm boundaries with your energy and your attention. Swap out an hour of mindless doom scrolling for a quiet walk in nature. Replace chaotic background television with calming music or a meaningful, uplifting podcast. Gently distance yourself from relationships and environments that constantly drain your spirit. Protecting your energy is not a selfish act. It is an act of deep self-respect and preservation. Even small, intentional shifts in your daily inputs can drastically alter your inner atmosphere. Let your mind witness beauty rather than disaster. Let it hear the truth rather than gossip. When you stop flooding your mind with the noise of the world, you finally create the quiet, sacred space needed for deep joy and clarity to surface. Pillar 3, the power of the pause, stepping off the wheel of reactivity. Let us move to the third pillar, which is where true mental freedom is forged. Have you ever caught yourself snapping at someone you love before you even realized what you were saying? Have you ever felt a sudden wave of panic over a minor inconvenience and watched your mind spiral into an imaginary disaster scenario? This is the trap of living on autopilot. Most of us stumble through our days reacting blindly to whatever life throws our way. These sudden reactions are rarely who we truly are in the present moment. Instead, they are loud echoes from the past, old defense mechanisms, and deep-seated fears running the show. The problem with this reactive lifestyle is that every time we blindly react out of anger or fear, we carve those negative neural pathways deeper into our brains. We become prisoners on a relentless wheel of our own conditioning. But Buddhist wisdom offers a master key to unlock this prison, and it is beautifully simple. It is the power of the pause. Between every trigger and your response, there is a tiny, almost invisible gap of space. In that brief space lies your absolute freedom and your highest power. When someone criticizes you, or when things do not go according to your carefully made plans, your instinct will scream at you to react, to fight back, or to run. Do not do it. Just for a second, take a deep breath and become the silent observer. Watch the anger flare up in your chest. Notice the fear gripping your throat. By simply observing the emotion without immediately acting on it, you strip away its power over you. You step out of the rushing river of reactivity and stand safely on the quiet shore. From this place of stillness, you can choose clarity over chaos. You can choose to respond with intention and grace rather than reacting out of blind habit. Mastering the pause is how you reclaim the steering wheel of your own mind and put an end to unnecessary suffering. Pillar 4, the alchemy of suffering, turning mud into lotuses. The fourth pillar teaches us how to handle the inevitable storms of human existence. It is the profound alchemy of suffering. Let us be entirely honest about the human experience. Life does not ask for your permission before it breaks your heart. It does not apologize for the job you lost, the relationships that faded, or the heavy moments that brought you to your knees. Our immediate instinct is to turn away from this pain. We want to numb it, distract ourselves from it, and cry out to the universe, asking why this has to happen to us. However, the Buddhist approach to suffering invites us to ask a radically different question. What if this pain is not a curse, but a profound and necessary teacher? One of the most beautiful symbols in Eastern philosophy is the lotus flower. The brilliant lotus does not grow in pristine, crystal-clear water. It can only take root, grow, and bloom in the thickest, darkest mud. Without the heavy mud, there is no beautiful flower. Your suffering is the mud of your life. When tragedy strikes, you do not have to pretend that it does not hurt. Toxic positivity will tell you to just smile and look on the bright side. True spiritual resilience asks you to sit gracefully in the discomfort and allow it to transform you. When you stop fighting your pain and start leaning into it, everything shifts. You begin to realize that the heartbreaking betrayal is teaching you boundaries and unshakable self-respect. The devastating failure is stripping away your ego and teaching you profound humility. The dark and lonely season is forcing you to finally become your own best friend. When you reframe your challenges as gateways to wisdom, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You become an alchemist, fully capable of turning the darkest mud of your life into a masterpiece of inner strength and deep compassion. If you are finding a moment of peace and clarity in our journey so far, consider taking a gentle pause to subscribe to Buddha Coha. We are dedicated to sharing timeless wisdom and healing insights to help you navigate modern life with a calm and resilient heart. By joining our community, you help us share these uplifting teachings with more souls who might need a little light today. Now, let us return to the next pillar of our practice. Pillar 5, the wealth of enoughness, cultivating radical gratitude. Let us journey to the fifth pillar, a practice that will completely redefine your understanding of wealth. We have been heavily conditioned by modern society to believe that happiness lies just over the horizon. We constantly tell ourselves that once we get that promotion, find that perfect partner, or buy that beautiful dream house, we will finally feel satisfied. But when we reach that horizon, it simply moves further away. The Buddha identified this endless cycle of craving as a primary source of human suffering. Our minds are perpetually scanning the environment for what is missing, creating a persistent and exhausting sense of lack. The ultimate antidote to this endless chase is radical gratitude. Cultivating gratitude in a Buddhist sense goes far beyond just politely listing a few things you are thankful for in a morning journal. It is a profound, embodied recognition of enoughness. It is the conscious practice of retraining your brain to stop looking for what is absent and start fiercely honoring what is already present in your life. Think about the quiet, ordinary moments that you likely rush past every single day. Feel the steady, reliable rhythm of your heart beating in your chest, asking for absolutely nothing in return. Notice the soothing warmth of a simple cup of coffee in the early morning light. Appreciate the comforting presence of a friend who listens to you without judgment. When you pause to truly feel the weight of these small blessings, the restless craving for more begins to dissolve naturally. You realize that you are already holding profound wealth in your bare hands. This deep sense of enoughness softens the sharp, frantic edges of modern ambition and anchors you deeply in quiet contentment. You stop living for a hypothetical future and start celebrating the exquisite beauty of right now. Pillar 6, the art of letting go, embracing impermanence. This deep appreciation of the present moment leads us beautifully into the sixth pillar, which is the delicate art of letting go and embracing impermanence. In Buddhist philosophy, the concept of impermanence is an undeniable, universal law. Everything in this physical and emotional world is in a constant state of flux. The seasons change, relationships evolve, our bodies age, and our deeply held emotions rise and fall like the ocean tide. Yet, the human ego desperately craves stability and permanence. We try our best to freeze time. We cling tightly to people, to comfortable phases of our lives, and to the nostalgic memory of the way things used to be. The Buddha taught that the root of our deepest anxiety comes from this very clinging. Imagine trying to hold clear water in the palm of your hand. If you keep your hand open, gentle, and relaxed, the water rests there peacefully. But the moment you panic and clench your fist to trap the water, it slips right through your fingers and disappears into the earth. The tighter you squeeze, the more you lose. Life operates in this same way. When we try to force situations or people to stay the same, we create immense friction and suffering in our own minds. Embracing impermanence is not about becoming cold, apathetic, or detached from the world. In fact, it is the exact opposite. When you deeply accept that every moment is fleeting, you actually love harder. You hug your loved ones a little tighter because you know the present moment is a rare, unrepeatable gift that will never happen the same way again. You also do not panic when dark days arrive because you know that sadness is impermanent and will eventually pass like a winter storm. Letting go is the ultimate act of trust. It is opening your clenched fists and allowing the river of life to flow naturally, finding unshakable peace in the beautiful, ever-changing dance of existence. Pillar 7. Embodying the Future Self, the Architecture of Belief. We now arrive at the seventh pillar, a profound shift in how we view personal growth and visualization. Modern self-help culture constantly tells us that we need to improve. It sells us the exhausting idea that we are somehow broken or incomplete, and that we must hustle relentlessly to build a brand new, optimized version of ourselves. We use visualization to imagine a future where we finally have the right traits, hoping that one day we will magically transform into that perfect person. Buddhist wisdom completely flips this narrative upside down. The Buddha never taught that you needed to add anything to your soul to become whole. He taught that your true, original nature is already inherently peaceful, wise, and filled with boundless compassion. The anxiety, the anger, and the self-doubt are just temporary layers of dust covering your brilliant inner mirror. Therefore, when you practice visualization in a spiritual context, you are not trying to fabricate a fake persona. You are not striving to become a different person. You are simply remembering who you truly are beneath all the noise of the world. Try this powerful exercise. Do not just wish for patience. Close your eyes and see yourself walking through a moment of intense chaos with absolute grace. Visualize a stressful conversation, but see yourself standing there completely grounded like an ancient mountain. Feel the slow, steady rhythm of your breathing. Notice the warmth and clarity in your own voice. In that quiet moment of mental rehearsal, you are not reaching for peace. You are actively embodying it. By feeling the emotion of calmness in the present moment, you gently sweep away the dust of anxiety and allow your true, luminous self to shine through. You become the architect of your own belief, building a reality rooted in your highest nature. Pillar 8. The Gentle Inner Voice, Befriending Your Flaws. As we strip away those layers of dust, we must confront the eighth pillar, which is cultivating a profoundly gentle inner voice. For most of our lives, we have been conditioned to believe that we must be incredibly tough on ourselves to succeed. We carry a harsh, unforgiving inner critic that monitors every mistake we make. When we stumble, this voice immediately attacks us with guilt, shame, and judgment. We mistakenly believe that this brutal self-criticism acts as a shield, protecting us from future failures and pushing us to be stronger. In reality, it breaks our spirit. Buddhist teachings beautifully illustrate this through the parable of the two arrows. When a painful event happens in life, such as a failure or a rejection, that is the first arrow. It hurts, but it is an unavoidable part of being human. However, when we harshly judge ourselves for feeling that pain or for making a mistake, we are actively shooting a second arrow right into our own chest. The first arrow is life. The second arrow is entirely our own doing. Cultivating a positive mindset requires you to drop the second arrow. It requires the radical, courageous act of befriending your own flaws. True self-compassion is not about throwing a pity party or ignoring your responsibilities. It is the practice of meeting your own suffering with warm, unwavering presence. When you fail, instead of attacking yourself, you offer the same grace you would give to a deeply loved friend. You learn to place a hand over your heart and whisper an acknowledgement that things are hard right now, but you are still worthy of love. Gentleness is often mistaken for weakness, but it takes immense, roaring courage to be kind to yourself in your darkest moments. When you replace the harsh inner critic with a deeply supportive friend, you build a fortress of emotional resilience that no external failure can ever destroy. Pillar 9, the sanctuary of the now, anchoring in the present. Finally, we arrive at the ninth and perhaps most vital pillar of a positive mindset, which is the sanctuary of the now. The human mind is a relentless time traveler. It spends the vast majority of its existence either lingering in the shadows of the past or aggressively projecting itself into the imagined landscapes of the future. We replay old regrets, constantly analyzing what we should have said or done differently. Then, we pivot and spend countless hours anxiously bracing ourselves for tragedies that have not even happened yet. In all this exhausting mental time travel, we completely miss the only place where life actually exists. The present moment. The Buddha taught that true peace does not come from having a perfect past or securing a flawless future. It comes from fully arriving in this very moment, exactly as it is, without desperately needing to change it, escape it, or chase after the next exciting thing. Mindfulness is the ultimate anchor that stops the mind from wandering off into imaginary storms. It means showing up for your life, not just when things are beautiful and calm, but in the ordinary, messy, and quiet moments too. When you bring your full, undivided attention to the present moment, something deeply magical happens. The simplest things transform into sacred experiences. The cool water washing over your hands, the sound of the wind moving through the trees, or the gentle rise and fall of your own breathing become profound gateways to joy. You stop treating the present moment as a stepping stone to some better future and start realizing that this exact second is a destination in itself. By anchoring your awareness in the now, you step out of the heavy burden of time and find a quiet, unshakable sanctuary that has always been waiting for you right here. As we bring this journey to a close, take a slow, deep breath. The path to a positive and peaceful mindset is not a sudden, magical transformation. It is a daily, gentle practice of returning to your center. It is the conscious choice to plant wholesome seeds in your mental garden, to guard the gates of your energy, and to pause before the storm of reactivity takes over. It is the courage to transform your suffering into profound wisdom and to anchor yourself deeply in radical gratitude. You do not have to be perfect to walk this path. You only need to be present, to be kind to yourself, and to keep moving forward with a sincere heart. The beautiful truth is that the peace you have been desperately searching for in the outside world is already blooming quietly within you. You simply need to clear the lens of your mind to see it. Thank you for sharing your precious time and energy with us today. Before you go, take a moment to reflect on everything we have discussed. Which of these 9 pillars resonated the most deeply with your soul today? Choose just one specific pillar to practice this week and watch how it begins to subtly shift your entire reality. Please share your thoughts and your chosen practice in the comments below, as your words might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. If you found value and peace in this video, consider subscribing to our community for more timeless wisdom and philosophical guidance to support your daily life. Keep walking your path mindfully, gently, and with a beautiful, open heart.